this 6 rod out, so I'm just going to undo all the torque rods off the diffs and pull the jack shaft out down there so we can lift the 6 rod out of here and leave the diff sitting on the ground. And I'm just going to sandblast and paint the 6 rod as it sits here. I'm not going to pull all of this apart because the bushes in the 6 rod are good, the torque rod bushes are good, so there's no point messing with that as it can get difficult and expensive. So no cracks in the springs or anything, so I'm happy with how they all are. So it's going to get painted as is and then bolted into the chassis. Kind of sped through that whole process a little bit quickly there, but didn't really do too much exciting. We changed 12 bolts in the bottom that the heads sit in dirt and water. It all pulls on top of it, so they rusted away. They were almost completely gone, and we also ground out a couple of cracks and re-welded them, just minor cracks. As you saw, we got the 6 rod all sandblasted and tidied up, and it's looking good. Found a few small cracks that we've repaired, so it's looking good. I'm happy with how it's come up, and I'm just getting ready to put some paint on it. So yeah, it's all coming along. I think it's going to look much better with some paint on it. And then I'm finally going to be able to bolt it back into the rear of the chassis, which is going to be pretty exciting. So, yeah. I haven't done anything other than fix a few cracks and stuff on the back here. I replaced all these bolts, which you saw me do. They were all, the heads were completely rounded and rusted off. There was some bolts on the ground, but we did do a little bit of a tidy up, so they're gone. But yeah, just gonna get into painting straight away pretty much. It's gonna look excellent when it's done, and yeah, I feel like I'm making good progress, so super happy about that. Yeah, gonna leave all these torque rod bushes. They are all looking pretty good. No obvious signs of wear and tear in them. They're like $515 each, and that's with a discount apparently. So aftermarket ones can be had for 300 and something, but if you were to do all of them, like at 515, that's like $6,000 or something. So you'd need to put airbag in for that price. Not that I want to do that, but yeah, I've got the yellow SAR out the front of the shed. It needs all new bushes, so that'll be interesting when it comes time to do that. I'm going to do some research and try and find some cheaper ones, but yeah, it's coming along good. And yeah, it's all in pretty good nick at the rear. Someone's done it at some point, so I know I've said that a few times, and then I've gone and done work. But yeah, as far as if this was worn out, all this bush in here would be falling out and splitting apart, and then this part here would start rubbing this ring here. Looks like it's been repaired once before. I reckon it's probably been flogged out, and they've cut new rings possibly to put in there. You can see, I think one of them you can see where it's been hitting once before, but oh no, I'm dreaming. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna start mixing up some paint. I've already given it all a good blow down, and yeah, start laying the paint on. I tell you what, there's nothing better than a shiny paint job. The red just makes it pop. Looks like glass. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to bring it in the shed now, and it can dry. So I've done 2 coats of primer and probably 2.5, 3 coats of red. I just sort of kept going over it, so it's nice and wet. It's got plenty of paint on there, and I think it looks great. So I'll poke it in the shed before all the flies and bugs decide to stick to it. Now that the 6 rod's all painted, we can go on to reassembly over here. The shed is absolutely packed full of bits, so I need to condense some of these bits a bit. So I'm going to put this back together. I'm going to put the brake spiders back on here, and then I can build the brakes up from there with all the new parts, all the new brakes. Got backing plates, new bolts for the S-cam tubes and backing plates. So that's my current plan right now. So I'll set the time lapse up and I'll get some of these bits organised. Okay, I got one side of the diff housing all assembled. Got the brake spider, the backing plates, the brake shoes, the S-cam bushes. There is zero slop in these S-cam bushes now. They are perfect. Got the booster on there, all looking nice and tidy. So I'm very happy. So I've upgraded these brakes to Meritor Q Plus. So they require a different profile S-cam, I think. I gather the grooves are deeper, or because it's the pads are thicker here, so they got more life in them. So yeah, they're just meant to last longer as far as I can tell. So since we replaced everything, we've upgraded that to those Q Plus brakes. So yeah, it should pull up excellent. I think these are the heavy duty pads. I forget what they call them, but you can get like your everyday stuff if you're just running market or something, and then you can do the heavy duty ones. So I got the heavy duty ones, so it should pull up on a dime. So when I come in tomorrow, I'll keep putting this other side together. I'll get that together. I might give you a bit of a rundown on just the little bits and pieces in case anyone has to do the same thing. But I definitely love putting stuff together with new parts. It's so nice. So yeah, it's a good feeling putting things together. So once we get that other side done, we can put the hubs on, and then we'll sit some wheels on and we can roll it around, and not long after we'll be able to sit it back on the diffs. Back on the suspension, I mean, not the diffs. It's time to go home. All right, we'll keep at it. One thing you need to make sure you remember when you bolt these S-cam tubes on is you've got this blue O-ring that seals against the face of the brake spider. If you don't remember to put that in, grease will come out between your brake spider and your S-cam tube, so then you'll have a mess. So you just need to make sure that you put that on. So between jobs today, I got one hub on. Haven't adjusted the bearings yet, but I've just got that sitting on there. And then over this side, I'll go around and have a look. We got the TRP Q Plus brake shoes on this side. Everything buttoned up here. Booster on. Everything's from TRP, so they've been looking after us with this resto, which is good. So yeah, that's all back on there looking good. I just got to clean those bearings up, clean the bearing races up in the hub, put the seal in, and then I can sit this side on as well. And then all I've got left is the yoke seal, the pinion seal. I've got to change that yoke out. It's just sitting on there because it's got a nick in it. We've got brand new temperature sender in there with magnetic drain plug in the bottom. So yeah, it's coming along well. And yeah, once this one's back together, we can move it all out, and then we'll be able to poke the 6 rod in under there, bolt that in, and we can put some wheels on these hubs and roll this diff under. And then we've just got to finish that front one, which I'm still waiting on the oil pump for it, because I'm going to replace the oil pump. That comes as a kit with the housing, the rotors, the oil pump gear, just to eliminate that slop because it's got a bit of wear. We've got some new stuff in here. We've got unis and stuff for the drive line and the centre bearing. Obviously not up to that yet, but we've got new nuts in there for the wheel studs. We've got new cleats and we've got new studs. I thought I'd go ahead and change the studs just because the old ones have a fair bit of a bend in them, just from years of being done up and undone, and because I forgot to tape them up, so I thought instead of cleaning them up, I'll put new ones on there. They'll be nice, and I'm not going to snap any or anything. And I got new wheel spacers because I used the wheel spacers on this truck on something else, so I had to get new wheel spacers, but I will blast and paint them red. And then I'm going to put the old chrome spider rims on the inside with new chrome spider rims on the outside, so it should look good with the red spacers in there. And yeah, it's all coming along. And then I've got to button up this front axle so that we can lift it off the trolley it's sitting on, so we can put the rear end under. But it's all happening slowly. So hopefully I'll get a bit further along on it tomorrow. And yeah, but I think it's looking really good. I do like it all painted up with like fresh new bolts, and just not everything painted. It even comes with like copper coated circlips for the slack adjusters, but there's zero slop in them. The bushes are rock solid. There's no play at all. Like every other slack adjuster and S-cam you grab on a truck, you can normally feel a fair bit of movement. They are brand new. Everything is done, yeah, excellent. All with new bits and stuff, so I'm super happy. So anyway, we'll move forwards and do a bit more. So, as you just saw, with a fair bit of struggling, we've got this 6-rod placed under here, which is pretty exciting. I'm still working on this side. I've got the bars in there, just trying to line it up. On this side, we've got all the bolts in. Had to do a slight bit of die grinding just in the holes. I never test fitted this, so that was a bit of a risk. But yeah, everything was real close. Just had to take a bit of paint, tiny bit of steel, but the die grinder with a burr bit sorted that out. In each hole, I have yet to do that up, but I will do it up after I do this side up. So, yeah, it looks so much better with some suspension under it. I'd like to show you the whole thing, but I have to keep it covered up for when I paint the front diff. I still don't have my oil pump kit. It hasn't made it here yet, sadly, so still haven't put the front diff together. I've got the front wheels on. Wheel bearings are adjusted. I just have to fold the tabs over and put me hubcaps on. What else? The wheels are just sitting on my 2 lug nuts. They'll come back off. Obviously needs new tyres, polish rims, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've got to put the tie rod back on, tighten up the U-bolts. Nice beefy tyres. That's about as big as you can go. There's not much room there between the boosters and the rim. So it's looking good. I'm getting pretty excited. I can't wait to get these rear diffs under and wheels on the rear diffs and have a roller again. It's going to be a pretty big achievement. I think, like I said in the last video, 26th of December is the 1 year anniversary of this thing getting pulled in the shed, and if I can have it back to a roller on a 1 year anniversary, then that is awesome. So that's the plan, and I think I'm going to be able to do it. So just need to get the rest of the bits to button up this diff here, and yeah, then we'll be able to roll both diffs under. It's just a matter of, we've got to do a bit of a wheel alignment. Some of you guys that have been around for a while might remember me doing that on the W model. So we've got to set up the laser and some squares and some chalk marks on the ground. And yeah, we just square off the chassis and measure to the center of the axles. So we'll get that all right. And then yeah, it can be all done up. So yeah, getting exciting. It's pretty hot today. So yeah, but we're making slow progress, but good progress. So I'll get these bolts back in this side, and then I can start tightening them down for good. I finally got my oil pump kit for this front diff. That's the front cover in there, and it's got the two oil pump gears and drive gear in there. I've got that stripped. And I did find one other issue, annoyingly, behind this big power divider gear that engages the power divider. There's that thrust washer, and you can see it's definitely seen better days. So I'm obviously, with it being Christmas time, I'm either going to have to pull the other diff apart, which isn't a big deal. I've only got to pull the front cover off, and then I can have a look and see if that thrust washer in that one's any better, and if it is, I could use that. And if not, I'm going to have to wait till after Christmas to be able to get one of those, because they're showing them in stock, but they're not answering. So that's Dana themselves. TRP said they can see that they've got them, but yeah, they just have to put in the order and see if it shows up or not. So I'm just going to put this oil pump back together for a start, and then see what we've got. So I've got the new oil pump gears in there with the drive gear on the back. I torqued that up to a few ugger-duggers. It's pretty hard to hold, so rattle gun got it tighter than I was going to get it holding it. It's got a lock nut on it, so no need to put Loctite on there or anything. Yeah, one of the crimpy lock nuts, and that just chills in there and runs off that gear. And all it does is pump oil out that hole there. I've got the old axle and diff assembly in here, and I'm just going to pull off this power divider cover and see if we've got a good thrust washer under here. Because if I've got a good thrust washer under here, I'll throw it in that diff, and we can start putting it back together. But if I've got to wait for a thrust washer, then obviously it's going to hold things up a bit. So hoping there's a good thrust washer in here. If it's no good, well, we'll do other things. We've had great success. So this is the thrust washer out of the other diff, which the other diff is what come out of this truck originally. So we're going to put this one in because that is fine. You can see it's got all these cutouts and it's not broken. So the other one had quite a lot of thrust against it for some reason. I'm not sure what would put that much thrust against it, but hopefully there's nothing else causing that, but I can't really see anything that would be. So yeah, we're going to sit that all back on there. So yeah, pretty much that goes on first. That de-washer thing goes on first with the teeth facing there. It's got a flat on it that lines up, and then the thrust washer, and then the gear. So we'll clean all that up and put that on, and then you got that snap ring to hold it all on. So we'll go ahead and get that on. I've got that big power divider gear back on with the little snap ring in there, so that's all sorted out. Oil pump's all buttoned up. The only thing we've got left to do is to do this seal once it's all back together, but we'll sort that out. Next on the list is to clean up the rest of the diff center, which is under here. Not sure if you remember me saying there's meant to be a spring and a thrust button down in here. There's a spring but no thrust button, so I've got a new spring and thrust button to go in there, and I'm going to give that all a clean out. And then these rollers like to fall out, so I'm probably going to have to pack this bearing full of grease to keep those needle rollers in there so that they don't come out when I drop the power divider housing over the top. And then clean up this gasket surface and that gasket surface, and should be able to sit it all back together. So it's pretty exciting.
Stuff in your truck?
Yep.
There's all the bolts you used.
Yeah. I've got the front diff center in, and I have verified that the power divider works. I've got gasket glue on the rear banjo housing. I've got the banjo cover cleaned up, so I'm going to sit that on now and do it up. And then I'll just loosely sit the yoke on for now until it's had its final sandblast, and then after it's painted I'll go through and do all the seals, the input shaft seal on that diff, the output shaft seal here, and the input shaft seal here, so they'll all be brand new. So should have no leaks hopefully. I got the 2-speed actuator bolted on. It engages and disengages. I haven't physically counted that. It is changing the ratio because I haven't put the axles in yet, but I will confirm that at some point. I'll confirm that that one over there works now. It's all back together as well. I've just got to paint the ends of the axles, which is still here. So yeah, I'll sit this rear banjo housing on now and we'll go from there. After sandblasting yesterday, I'm just getting all organised to paint today, hopefully. I'm just putting in some new input and output shaft yoke seals. So the part number for the output shaft on the back of the front diff is 210737. So we've got that in behind there with, I reused that nut and Loctited it on. Front seal we're using is 210736. So I'm just about to put that in now. I'm just cleaning up that front cover. And then what's next? Yeah, then all I've got to do is sand the new wheel spaces. They come white when you buy them, or these TRP ones do anyway. So I've got to sand these, give them a rough up, and hang them up there as well somewhere. And then I can make a start. This is everything to put this front diff back together and make it the same as that rear diff over there. And then I'll be able to put it under and we'll be very close to having a roller again. So there'll be a bit of stuffing around in doing the wheel alignment. If some of you guys remember when I did the wheel alignment on the W model, it'll be very similar to that. So same sort of procedure. Yeah. So I'll just put this front steel in and see what I got to do next. It's the next morning, checking out our efforts of yesterday. We've gained a friend that is, he's gotten a bit white, if it'll focus. There we go, sort of focused. There we go. Little friend. But anyway, we got some nice shiny bits. They've all come up not too bad. Hopefully didn't miss anywhere. It's pretty hard when you're painting to make sure you get everywhere. But it looks nice. So yeah, there's all the red bits. So I was running out of time, but one light coat. I did one light coat and one heavy. Probably should have done two light coats and then a heavy over the top, but just gives a bit better coverage. But that's all looking good. I'm happy with that. Today we are going to finish bolting in the 6-rod because some of the bolts are just sitting in there. I was waiting for some longer bolts. So I've got to roll this plastic back and start putting in some longer bolts. At least that's the plan anyway. I'll be glad when this plastic can stay off for good. So I've gotten longer bolts to go in here. See, because we're not quite through the nylock. So we've got longer bolts to go in there, and then we can crank them up, and then we can do all of these bolts up as well. And then that's all bolted in for good, and then we'll start getting organised to roll the diffs in. So yeah, we can roll the diffs in and sit them under, and then I'll have to do some wheel aligning. And then on the front axle I've got U-bolts to tighten, and yeah, then we're sort of getting somewhere. I've got all the 6-rod mounting bolts tightened up, so it's looking nice. I've just started putting in these bump stop rubber pads, which just sandwich between two plates. The old ones were all smashed out. They sort of start flaring out. That's what new ones look like, in a part number K174575. So it's just a bit of rubber split between a plate. It's nothing fancy. And they're the sandwich plates there. So I'll get them all tightened up. And then I might go torque up the U-bolts on the front axle, because the back is pretty much sorted until we roll some diffs under. So I think that is where we're at. I've got to finish cleaning up the front hubcaps so I can bolt them on and fill the hub oil up. But it's coming along nicely. It's all progressing. So I'll go over the other side and get those two bump stop pads put on, and then we'll go from there. I've let the paint bake in the shed yesterday. It was 30 something degrees, so it's had plenty of time to dry out a bit more. I sat these on yesterday, these brake spiders. The paint was a bit soft, but I've just done them up this morning, so it's all good now. I've tapped all these holes for the S-cam tubes and the brake backing plates. I've got to fit the anchor pin bushes, which I will do now, and then put the backing plates on, put the brake shoes on, S-cam tubes with new bushes, S-cams, slack adjusters, boosters, and then I can clean the bearings up and put the hubs on. So anyway, I'll start there. I'll get these anchor pin bushes in, and yeah, we should have an assembled diff shortly. I've got all the brake stuff back on, S-cam tubes, slack adjusters, boosters, brakes, everything. And it's all looking very nice. I do like how it looks. It's definitely time consuming, but I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm just cleaning up the bearing races in the hubs, getting ready to knock the hub seals and bearings in, and then I'll sit the hubs on. I don't torque the bearings up yet to spec. I just do the adjusting nut up loosely, and when the diff axle is mounted in the truck, and there's wheels on the hubs, I can actually feel the play in the bearings properly and set them right the first time, hopefully. I'll finish cleaning these hubs up and I'll lift them down and knock some hub seals in. Bit of a milestone today on New Year's Day. We've got the rear diffs in. They are sitting in there, bolted in. Torque rods are bolted up. I've just done a couple of bolts up to pull it in roughly where it needs to be, because obviously I still got to do the wheel alignment, and probably going to wait till I've got the wheels on it and it's mostly back together, so it's like sort of complete tear weight on the springs, and I've driven it backwards and forwards and everything's settled into where it needs to be, because when you do a wheel alignment you're meant to go forward and reverse and let the diffs settle so that they haven't screwed over. It should be in the right spot, but yeah, I did a rough measurement and I'm getting 3 mil out. That was just with a tape measure. I'll get Dad to hold something a bit better and do a proper measurement, but seems to be pretty close. So yeah, I'm very happy. It's looking really good. So yeah, everything is kind of how it's going to be left. So you can, I just had that straight edge there. I was just confirming that it was roughly in a straight line, not like the old diff with one 30 mil out more than the other, but this appears to be bang on. So I'm quite happy with that. It's looking excellent. Changes the look every time we add something, and that's 2 big pieces to the puzzle now. So once we get some wheels on the back, it'll be a roller, but I'm a few days behind on my roller time schedule of the 26th, but it's officially been apart for 12 months now. So yeah, we've got to keep moving forwards, but I'll probably adjust the wheel bearings properly. They're just all done up tight. So I will adjust them properly, put the axles in with new axle gaskets, and then don't know what I'll do. Probably going to start doing these tank cross braces. They were all bent, the ones that join the 2J brackets together. Got to sandblast and paint the steering box and the battery boxes, but there's not a great deal left to paint red. So I'm just thinking, yeah, so I got one battery box over there, steering box there, and yeah, it's not a great deal left to paint red, which is great. Just as a bit of an outro to this video, I got a couple of wheels put on, just gave those rims a bit of a wash up. It's definitely going to get new ones, as these have got a bit of rust starting to come through, so they'll go on the inside, and 4 new chrome ones on the outside. So I've just done what it's going to look like here. I see I've got the chrome ones on the inside. It's way overkill, especially considering I'll probably work the truck a little bit. I am going a bit overboard, but I don't know, can't help myself. So that's how it's looking so far. So that's pretty motivating. It'll look nice when that's complete. Some road train guards over it. Lots of lights everywhere. Polished steer rims with some new steer tyres and all new tyres on the back. I can see it now. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll go home and put this all in some sort of order so that you can watch it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I'll try and get it out in time. But yeah, I'm really happy with progress. It's looking excellent. I can't wait. So anyway, I keep stuttering because I try not to say so, because everyone says I say so too much. So now I stutter because I try not to say so, but it just keeps happening. So I can't help it, see? Didn't even mean that. There you go. I'm going to stop talking. I'm out. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers.